What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Welcome to Spain. Yep. Yep, there she is. There's Spain is beautiful. No, seriously though, I hope you guys are enjoying 1.3. I've really had mixed feelings about it, but today I'm going to be breaking down the tier 6 of the monarchy, government reform, governing capacity, or territories. Which is better? Place your bets now. 1 in chat, 1 in the comments for governing capacity, 2 for territories. Place your bets now. I've gotten a decent amount of experience in this patch, and I'm pretty damn confident in my opinion, and I hope to express that here in a way that you guys understand, and I hope that it benefits you guys. So, let's go. Let's talk about our goal, okay? In my view, in this patch, your finances are absolutely key in the beginning of the game. They're the most fundamentally important thing is the economy as a general rule. Why? Basically, because you want to reach this kind of stage. What is this kind of stage? It's 1630 here in my Spanish game. We're killing it, as you can see. I got PUs and all that kind of stuff. Well, 221 ducats surplus of income that's with overextension and all sorts, is enough for what? It's enough to build a courthouse in every single province that I take as I expand. A courthouse. It's enough to build a state house in one state house per area in every single area in the world as we expand, and enough to build a manufactory in every single area apart from state houses, because they don't stack, as we expand. This is what it is enough to do, and then have a surplus of cash to actually achieve other things. So, in my view, you want to reach this stage as quickly as possible, because it's going to allow you to expand while trivializing the amount of governing capacity that it costs you to expand. And this is really the technique, I suppose, to efficiently expand in 1.3 and kind of ignore governing capacity. So, which out of these two are going to help us achieve that more? Initially, kind of theory crafting about 1.3 and not having any experience, I thought, well, governing capacity is a huge issue, and we're worried about that, and we want to take the governing capacity, right? Well, getting some experience and realizing, that you can get it from the estates and the empire government rank and the technology and so on, I kind of changed my view to switching to the autonomies. Why? Because in most cases, you can see kind of here my states versus territories, you're going to have a whopping amount of territories. That's why. And the base value, I've got a lot of modifiers, forgive me guys. You can see we've got 65 autonomy, but the base value is actually 90 autonomy. 90. Now, just so you guys know, expansion is giving 10, and there's a trading company bonus that you can apply to the whole region for 1,000 of 5 autonomy here. And then, of course, this is being currently applied. So that's reducing it all the way down to 65 as a general rule. State House also reduces autonomy, but it's not that relevant because State House sucks. It doesn't do anything else. The point is, most provinces are going to have 65 in my case, but they ought to have 90, okay? So if you don't have the luxury of going expansion, it's not really suiting you, a way you can kind of look at this is going to double the value of your territories, all right? That's kind of how I viewed it, and I thought, yeah, I mean, that's just so strong, you're going to be stating up, you're going to be avoiding, because it increases the admin cost, stating up so many provinces, and you have the ability to trade in companies so many provinces now, everything outside of your subcontinent, you can trade in company. So that's the way to go, because although it's going to give you reduced governing capacity, which is what we're trying to manage, it's going to allow you to reach that sick economic snowball where you just have money coming out of your ears. So that was my kind of thought process, is this is good, wait, this one's better, this one's bait. Now, is that the case? Wrong. The answer, in my view, overwhelmingly, is governing capacity. It goes without saying that governing capacity is better if you don't have many territories. So you might be playing multiplayer and you're trapped, or you're playing Prussia, who's in more need of governing capacity, etc., blah, 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 and you don't have any territories, and so this is useless. But not only in that circumstance is this objectively better, but I would say that this is just better in general. And I'm going to go ahead and break it down and try to explain to you why. Remember that the goal in mind is the economic snowball, because once you're just absolutely balling rich and you feel like you have infinite money, that's when you become really efficient at governing capacity management. That's the goal, the economic snowball. So let's just harken back to the previous patch where all territories as a general rule would have 75 autonomy. Well, I know from just general game experience that playing out in the New World, I've done one tags and stuff like that, where you have a lot of provinces like this, which have a good resource, a very good resource. You can see the base is 4 ducats. It's currently increased in price. But I would find that building and manufacturing a province like this, by the end of the game, where you have a lot of production efficiency and so on, even without many modifiers boosting this up, when it only has 1 production, the minimum, I would find that, and as a general rule, unless there's literally about 40 years or less remaining in the game, it was economically beneficial to actually build a manufacturing in these provinces, believe it or not. You can see the modifier here is big, and I'm talking about territories with 75 autonomy. And you might be like, well, Monk, okay, so you might look at that value and it might be relatively high, but why do you say it's beneficial? The main reason, guys, is because this is only showing you the production bonus that you're going to get, but what a manufacturer actually does is increases goods produced, and goods produced itself increases trade value. And trade value is the real alpha of income. Tax in the beginning of the game is kind of good, and then production will eventually, kind of mid-game, usually outshine your tax. But trade is really the alpha and the omega. It's really just the biggest source of income by far. And so when we look at, just trust me, I don't want to dwell on this too much. In most cases, if a resource was strong in production, even in the worst case scenario, it would be worth building a manufactory, guys, in the previous patch. So by that logic, if you had a weak resource like grain, which is only half the value, well, this would also be worth building, assuming that you could build it twice as early, if you understand that logic, and get twice as much out of it. Surprisingly, in most cases, you would actually want to build a manufactory in every single province in the game, even in the worst case scenario. That's what I'm trying to describe in the previous patch. And the major reason why is because it would boost your trade income just staggeringly. So with that being established, we're now going to talk about this current patch. If you look at this province in particular, you can see that we have 65 autonomy. So keep this in mind. I have literally gone for as many reduced autonomy modifiers as I possibly can. And this is a good resource, ivory, base value of 4. It's selling for 4 right now. And we have the minimum production. We also have a trading station. We're not looking at the trade income, which is the real money we're making. We know that. But we're looking over here at the production. Okay? There is no workshop here. Increasing production. And look at this. 1.15. Good resource, worst case scenario in terms of development. That's pretty good, right? I mean, 500 months, and this is making bank. And that's without the trade efficiency that we're going to get from technology and so on as the game continues. Pretty good, right? Kind of surprising, no workshop here. Sure, we've got these investments, but at 65 autonomy. Well, if we go ahead and look at the production, you can see here that it says local autonomy modifier further modifies this by negative 325. 325 is 50% of 65. So in actuality, production is only affected by 50% of your autonomy. That's right, 50% of your autonomy in this current patch. We know that the tax, due to no building slots and so on, and the manpower, is going to be trash no matter what, right? We're talking about production, and we're not even addressing about the real income, trade. We're just focusing on production. Production has been buffed, guys. It has been buffed massively in territories because as a general rule, it only receives 50% penalty. So that is inside of any province that you can trade in company. As you can see here, this is trade company map mode, okay? This is the Maghreb Charter, and this is not. We've got 65 autonomy here, and production is at 65. We go into the trading company, 65, production is at 325. That is a huge buff from trading companies in territories. Trading companies cost governing capacity, that's right. So as long as you trading company up a province, even if it is at 90, not 65, which we've really worked for this, right? Wow, I've really worked. I've done everything I can to get that number low. Well, even if you don't, you do nothing, and this is 90. In actuality, as long as you add it to a trading company, it's 45. 45. So I rented initially about the 75. 50 would be twice as good. And therefore, I want you guys to dwell on even a bad resource. Do you remember I was talking about even a bad resource? What if a bad resource was twice as good as last patch? Well, that is the current state of the game. It is better than that, as long as you trade company it. Now, that's let alone 50% production. 50% production, and what's that? Goods produced. 0.3 goods produced. So again, we're not even talking about trade. But that is the real alpha of income, is the trade. In a province like this, guys, it's 4 times 0.3. That's 1.2. That is better than a manufactory. So some people might be disappointed that they have to build a state house and therefore miss out on a manufactory in one province in every single area. But if you trade company up the area, you get better than a manufactory. Only in a rare circumstance of a state of 3 is it slightly worse at 90, 0.9, as opposed to 1 goods produced. Any area larger than 3, and it's significantly better and cheaper, right, at 400 than a manufactory. So in other words, I want you guys to have kind of visualize a little bit how my game went. I began expanding into Maghreb, right? As you can see, though, my charter is not in the entirety of Maghreb. If we go ahead over here and look at Tunis, even worse. This is the trading company map mode, okay? I've simply added the trade centers over here mostly. Why? To get over 50% of the trade power and get the merchant. But over here, I haven't added that much to the trading company. Why is that? Because of governing capacity. I look like I'm in good shape now, but of course there are points at which you don't have access to the most recent technology. You're, kingdom rank instead of empire or whatever, and you're expanding, you're building tall. There are certain points where this has been an issue. Now, the point that I'm trying to make is that this is a whopping amount, and if you take this, it is really going to alleviate your governing capacity massively. It's going to allow you to unabashedly, indiscriminately trade company states, and you're going to allow to fully invest in these states, these two in particular, the major ones, and then you apply this 5 autonomy to the entire state, the entire trading region, 5 autonomy, and you're going to absolutely kill it in terms of production, but moreover, trade income. So that is the answer to the question. If you guys remember, harken back to what I was talking about initially, economic snowball. You want to reach the point at which you can build a courthouse in every single province, a manufacturer in every single province, and a state house in the other at the earliest date possible. The quote-unquote economic snowball. That is the goal. Why? Because then you will very efficiently expand in terms of governing capacity. This won't cost you very much at all. The earlier you can reach that, the better. Governing capacity is actually going to allow you, by aggressively slamming down trading companies everywhere that you expand outside of your subcontinent, and not costing you any additional admin, allow you to economically snowball more efficiently, faster, and just in general be more of a powerhouse. This not only is obviously better when playing tall, but I think it is better when playing wide, and I think it is better under almost every circumstance. Governing capacity. If you voted governing capacity, ding, 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 you win. Thanks for watching. Bye. Peace out. Bye.